All right. Louisiana Congressman-elect Luke Letlow died dead from COVID-19. All right, well, right off the bat, this is a fraudulent story. All these, the whole left went nuts. They were like, oh, he had no mask and blah, 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 and this and that. And man, they were reveling in it. Look at this. This is Aaron Rupert. He died from COVID, a tragedy. I mean, sincerely, you know, it's a tragedy, but it was also avoidable. Shouldn't take tragedies for policymakers. Treat the coronavirus pandemic with the seriousness it deserves. There is less deaths on average in 2020 than the past 10 years. There's literally no spike in deaths. Look at the death numbers, okay? There's 1 day left. 1 day, tomorrow, the last day in 2020. And we have less deaths on average in America than the past 10 years. How is that possible? If there's a pandemic raging and killing hundreds of thousands of people, how is there less deaths on average this year than the past years? How is that possible? You know what? It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. And I'm not sorry. Well, who am I kidding? I'm not sorry. Because it's not possible. Get out of here with that. There's less average deaths right now than the past 10 years. We're on par to have less deaths. We got to, if 350,000 people die tomorrow, we'll match the average for the year. You think that's going to happen? Who knows? But if it does, we would be at average. So we're below average right now. With a pandemic raging, that's the deadliest pandemic ever. Is it? Is it though? Well, it turns out he actually suffered a heart attack following an operation. Oh. So that's what happened, huh? So he actually did, he had COVID-19. Sure, he had COVID-19, but he was having an operation and there was complications of the operation and he had a heart attack. At least he was right. It is a tragedy that he died. He left behind two children, you know, and a wonderful wife. Like he had a great family, and it's a shame. And he just became elected. It is a shame what happened to him. Okay, but you have to remember. Thank you, CNBC. The third leading cause of death in the U.S. most doctors don't want you to know about: medical malpractice. Seriously, a recent Johns Hopkins. This is from 2 years ago. But this hasn't changed, all right? Study claimed that more than 250,000 people in the U.S. die every year from medical errors. Other reports claim the number could be as high as 440,000. Now remember, we're at less deaths this year than average. Less deaths than 2018. So if it's up to 440,000, that means more people could die from medical malpractice than from COVID-19. What? This man could have just died from the doctor messing up or from his heart not being able to handle the pressures of whatever operation he was going under, which he had. Anesthetics are not, they're not the best. It's a risk every single time you go under. All right? So the whole left Twitter went nuts. Oh my gosh, see, he wasn't wearing a mask one time. He went to school and he got COVID and died. He deserved it. That's what they're saying without saying it, all right? But they're saying it. That's what they believe. These people are terrible people to celebrate that. Celebrating anyone dying is terrible. He left behind two beautiful kids, and that's a shame. He was in the prime of his life, okay? He just became a congressman and had a complication, which it turns out is actually the third leading death in America. The third. Over COVID. I didn't do the statistics of this year. I couldn't find them in time. But this is from 2018. 250,000 people a year up to 440,000 people a year. What are we at? 300,000 right now with COVID deaths? I'm going to do quotes because we're finding out there was motorcycle accidents that were COVID deaths. There was someone that got hit by a bus that was considered a COVID death. I just using people's death politically sickens me. There's been a lot of people that have passed this year. When it's someone on the left, they revere them and you know, put them on this pedestal. When it's someone on the right, they demonize them and use them as this political pawn. And what are the people on, you know, the more conservative side of things? It's a terrible tragedy. Period. That's it. Done. It's a tragedy. For whoever dies, everyone that's died, it's a tragedy. We all believe it, right? I'm sick of the politicization of anyone dying. I don't care who you are. If you die, it's a sad thing. Death is a part of life, okay? It is true. I've faced a lot of death in my life, you know, and it's always a sad thing to lose someone close to you. It's terrible, you know? But to politicize them, to throw it in the face of your political opponents, shame on all of you who are doing that. Now, I have a feeling many of my viewers right now wouldn't do that because I feel like, you know, you are, you know, we are relatively like-minded, and I think it's a damn shame. Pardon my language. But yeah, so I think it's just terrible. I'm sick of it. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. Well, you know, it reminds me of that that phrase. You know, the left, they think the right is evil, where the right thinks the left is just misunderstood. And standing back, that couldn't be more true. The left thinks the right is so evil that it's justified. They're justified in cheating. I think that's what's going on. They're like, no, we don't care. We are fighting against evil right now. We're defending against fascism while literally being fascists themselves. And the right's like, well, we're using knowledge and logic and fairness, and we want to be transparent. We were trying to explain to you how things actually are. And they're like, free! You're evil. I must defeat you by any means necessary. I must ridicule anyone that dies on your side to prove my point that you're evil and that we're right. Well, let me explain to you. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to hear about the fact that someone hacked into the system live during a hearing. Straight up. Listen to this. Someone, I wasn't going to bring this up, but this guy calls, no, I don't know if I can, whatever. This guy straight up calls all the people shameless butt monkeys. Anyone that showed up at the hearing today to explain the voter fraud, which if you were listening to that hearing, it's insane. They were like, wow, this is, voter fraud exists. They proved it. Unanimously decided, like, okay, we got to dig into this because this is crazy. Everyone, the further it got along, they were like, this is pretty nuts. This is crazy.